If you are new to this channel, thank you so much for being here. Here's a little recap. About a month ago, I packed up my life, sold everything and headed off on an adventure of a lifetime. Started my journey in Cape Town before I boarded my first flight to the Maldives. Ended up spending a week on the island of Toulouse where I enjoyed snorkeling, surfing and incredible sunsets. Now I'm back in Cape Town and busy planning my next adventure. But before we get into that, let's talk about your next trip to the Maldives. You are looking to book your trip to the Maldives, but you're not quite sure what to expect in terms of budgeting. Well, in this video, I'll be giving you some tips on budgeting for your trip. One of the most important decisions you'll have to make when visiting the Maldives is whether you want to stay in a private resort or local island. The resorts come with their own benefits, such as allowing you to consume alcohol on site and the amazing accommodation options that you see on the internet whenever you Google the Maldives. However, be prepared to pay a lot more for this. With the current pandemic, you may find some incredible deals, so don't just dismiss it from the get-go. Maybe you strike it lucky. We, however, chose to stay on a local island. Our reason for choosing the island of Toulouse was because of the surfing spots surrounding the island. It is important to remember that there are more than 180 inhabited islands, and therefore choosing your location will probably be the most difficult task. My recommendation would be to list the main expectations you have for your trip and then to find a location that can offer you just that. The information that I'm sharing in this video is focused on my experience in Toulouse and may differ from island to island, so be sure to read up a bit more once you've decided on where exactly you want to go. Accommodation in the island of Toulouse was quite reasonable. We went for the beachfront option, which obviously ended up being a bit more, I would say around $100 per night. However, on Toulouse there are several cheaper options to consider with way more cheaper rates. Do not think that the experience won't be as nice as going to the private resorts, as the accommodation was still extremely beautiful and it felt like staying in paradise. Food again will depend on whether you dine locally or at one of the hotels or resorts. As with any trip, eating the local food will be way more cheaper and add to your experience. We paid around $7 to $10 for a meal. Water is usually included complimentary, and soft drinks and juices around anything between $2 to $7 depending on whether it is a soft drink or a freshly squeezed juice. If you are staying on a local island, remember that alcohol will not be allowed. You are not allowed to take alcohol into the country, so be warned. Should you wish to have a drink, you can always take the boat out to a boat bar just off the island. The trip to the boat bar will be around $10 and then expect for it to be quite pricey at the bar. The beer is around $5, single shot spirits $4 excluding the mixer, which will be another $4 to $5. Wine is around $30 for a bottle. Alcohol is not cheap. If you do not see yourself going on a holiday without a cocktail in hand most days, then I'd suggest finding a deal at a private resort. There are many excursion options to choose from. Going out to a surf spot was around $10 to $20 depending on the distance. Water sports can go up to anything around $45 per activity, snorkeling around $25. Since we went in a group, we ended up negotiating a rate that included several activities in a one-day trip, and therefore we paid a special rate for the entire day. I suggest trying to combine some experiences and then negotiating your rate. On Toulouse, you'll find a few local shops as well with all the basics, where we ended up getting our supplies every day. Also remember to budget that extra $60 for your COVID test that you'll have to take prior to leaving the island. The Maldives was definitely not the cheapest that I've ever done. However, it is not just for the wealthy, and especially now with the pandemic, there are some amazing deals out there. It is truly a place that I've always wanted to see, and I'm so happy that I did. The Maldives therefore can definitely be done on a budget.